freely admit this video is purely for the culture. This is a theory and power meta I've been working on for Darth Sidious for a while now. Told a couple people like Chuck just to see what they thought about it. No one really talks about it, so I really want to. So if you like Star Wars scaling, theories, what ifs, all that versus battles, smash the like button, run the likes up, and I will pop them out even faster. But today I want to talk to you guys about a serious theory I have about Darth Sidious that I genuinely don't feel like anyone's talking about, and that is the fact that we literally were robbed of seeing true potential Sidious, possibly by a wider margin than we were robbed of Anakin and Luke. So let me begin. First of all, just a little bit of basics in Star Wars, right? There was this Jedi teaching slash prophecy of a chosen one. This chosen one would be a being serving basically the purpose of the light and restoring balance to the Force, in which they saw, you know, for some reason in Star Wars, balance to them means there's no bad people around like the Sith, but I don't know. Anyways, that's definitely not balance if one side's heavier than the other, but we're not here to judge Jedi math. On the other side, and what is super important to this video, is the Sith. In the EU, the Sith have their own version of the Chosen One. This they call the Sith'ari, which will basically be the one true Sith to come through and basically pave the way to Sith greatness, baby. They are like the chosen one of the Sith and should narratively scale to the chosen one of Anakin. This is where this shit gets off the wall, and of course I will be referencing a bunch of different sources for this, but Sidious was considered potentially the actual Sith'ari, like, and it made sense. And his power levels were always absurd. Now, the reason this is crazy to me is, at first, in terms of power, I gave the notion of being the Sith'ari like sun level power. That's what I thought, right? But if you look at Anakin being the chosen one, that was more akin and likened to father, which is above son and daughter. Literally in canon and in legends, he's always been above son and daughter. So, when I at first thought true form Sidious or true potential Sidious was like son level, he might be closer to father. True form Sidious might have an argument for strongest in Star Wars. So, it's literally elaborated on and extrapolated upon in the EU, especially Dark Empire, that Sidious was literally too powerful for a mortal vessel. He quite literally could not demonstrate his power properly due to the physical limitations of being a mortal. His best chance was for some super OP, godlike vessel that could potentially contain this power he had. What vessel am I talking about? You guessed it, the Skywalkers, Anakin and Luke. Both of them in EU and in canon are basically Force God potential users. They just are because of their natural, literal connection to the Force. They were born of the Force through their mother on some Jesus-ish, all right? On some Star Wars, just, I don't know, like, I guess Anakin was supposed to be Jesus, except he picked up the blade. But regardless, the fact that we never saw true form, true potential Sidious, yet we saw all he could accomplish despite that, is crazy. Another thing to talk about, we don't even have to discuss the fact that it's quite literally shown he could not use his true power, and that his true power was likened to potentially being the Sith'ari itself. We never even saw full potential human Sidious. The dude, I did the math myself, and this is why I fell asleep last night. I was going through, literally just reading through everything of his childhood, what we know of his childhood, what we know of his youth and his time coming up as a Sith. Typically, the greatest warriors in Jedi Sith history start young. They were trained young. They experienced and delved into the intricacies of the dark side young. Palpatine low-key didn't have that shit. He came from a political family, which you can argue is evil, but I digress. But He came from this political family, and the way he started getting into the dark side was through collecting Sith artifacts. Palpatine always knew he was different. He always knew that inside of him was a darkness unlike anyone had ever seen. I want you to consider this. Count Dooku himself stated that through the Force, one could temporarily see all things. They could like become one with the universe. This makes sense given how the Force is attributed with being everywhere in existence, even things like life and death, while transcending it, right? So it makes sense that if you tap into it in such a pure, blissful moment, and the fact that it does say in lore that if you do so, you will experience the euphoria of a transcendence like the Force. He stated that even compared to that, Sidious was just darkness. A pure black hole in the Force itself. He was like almost like nothingness, just complete darkness, even compared to the actuality of the Force. That's crazy. He's almost like an event horizon where nothing escapes. Like, that's how Sidious is compared even to the Force. Like, he's something that could rip it apart almost. It's disturbing. The only two characters I would say have wilder potentials to me, maybe a third. I'll throw three names out there that always stick out to me. One, look at someone like Anakin Solo, who died early on young. He was apparently supposed to rival, even the real Anakin, the OG Anakin in potential. Then you look at someone like Mace Windu's clan brother. He lived in the jungles his whole life and was stronger than Yoda. That's crazy. That's nuts. But then you look at Sidious. Sidious couldn't even use his real power without dying. Without just getting auto-deleted from the server, damn it. Like, his body was literally gone. He was like, yo, if I try this, my body's done. It's over with. So dude, Sidious is the same character in EU that got sent into nothingness. Like, he didn't preserve his identity. He wasn't transcending to become a Force ghost. He quite literally got cast into oblivion. They called it like, basically like an oblivion, where it's nothingness. Even your identity is erased, right? You just cease to be nothing. Well, that doesn't make sense. Misspoke. He ceased to exist. All right, let's keep it at that. That was a double negative. But looking at Sidious, he survived that through his sheer power in the dark side of the Force. That's crazy. I mean, this is a character that became one of the best duelists in Star Wars history for memes, for shits and giggles. Literally, he learned and basically perfected all the forms of lightsaber combat. He didn't dabble in Vapad or anything, but he learned all 7, was exceptional at them, was one-shotting Jedi Masters, who were some of the most renowned duelists ever. And he did this to make fun of Jedi. He was like, yo, they value lightsabers? I'm going to shit on them in their own game. Dude, he's a menace. And the fact that he really was potentially the Sith'ari, and if he had found a way to transcend, potentially would have become like the next Sith god, is crazy. 2 more things to really confirm the godlike true potential of Sidious. I'm talking outerversal shit, right? And when I started this whole journey through Star Wars scaling, it was rare I'd find anything that even remotely pointed at outerversal, but the signs for true form Sidious are so crazy to me. So what are the other couple things I'm referring to? 1, he literally scared gods, right? The Yuuzhan Vong's gods that they pray to, who told them it was smart to go try to dunk on Luke and his homies. One of his homies, Kyle Katarn, who before he literally was trained, defeated someone who was relative to Vader. These beings were seen like someone to pull up on. The Vong gods admitted they wanted no smoke with Sidious. They said, avoid the fate of Sidious. The Vong were outside of the galaxy looking in, thinking about invading. They said they could see Palpatine / Sidious staring right back at them. Like, I wish the fuck you would, dog. Like, go ahead and pull up. You're going to get smoked. That's crazy. Literally, these concepts, these abstract beings that forced Darth Sidious to become one with the Force just to beat, like, the queen of the nest. If you want to use on Vaughn content, smash the damn like button, because they are a crazy race and a danger to everybody. But Sidious had to go one with the Force to, like, battle her, right, and win. They were scared to even pull up on Sidious, dog. He's like, we could get that shit in right now, Playboy. With even gods, he's not afraid. They literally advise their people not to fuck with Sidious. That's crazy. And then finally is the fact that in order to stop him, every Jedi ever came together, astrally, spiritually, whatever you want to call it, to suppress and keep Sidious from returning. That includes Anakin. So the astral power of Anakin and every other Jedi ever, like Yoda, come together to keep Sidious from coming back. That is crazy. It just speaks to the true raw power of Sidious and the fact that this man literally was close to finding ways to become God. Like, he was gonna become the Sith'ari, the true Sith'ari. And I do believe it's a really solid case in Legends that Sidious reaching his true form can contend with any of the heaviest hitters in Star Wars history. No, I'm talking even the abstract. So if y'all want to see matchups with like true potential characters, speaking to the fact that, like I said, he didn't learn Sith shit really until like 20s, 30s, 40s, and he was able to duel Mace Windu. Imagine if like Anakin picked up a lightsaber at 30, right? 30, 35, and then like that, at that point, it should be almost impossible to catch up to the others with how long they've been putting in work, but Sidious was that damn good. Overall, he's one of the most talented and power-wise gifted characters we've ever seen in Star Wars. To me, he is a fascinating villain. Every time I read more to him, the more I love the character of Darth Sidious and how mysterious he was, as a villain should be, dog. I don't want to know where that darkness came from, because the illogical horror of not knowing why he's so evil is what makes Sidious so intimidating and is such a big factor to his character. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. What do you think of my theory? Do you think there's merit to the argument that true power, full power, whatever you want to call it, true potential Sidious is one of the strongest ever? Possibly the one true Sith'ari who rivals the Chosen One in power? Let me know in the comment section down below. I believe there's some merit to it. I love the theory myself. It's one I've been working on for a while in terms of like adding some merit to the claim itself that was hypothesized in the verse. But thank you guys for watching. It's been your boy YFV, and I will see y'all later. Peace.